What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. I am the Poetic Killer, and in today's video, we're going to be reading the poem Rulership Minded and the Art of Non-Attachment. So, we're going to start off with Rulership Minded. Let's get to it. Let your mind run wild like a child. The soul obtains infinite doorways and aisles. Anything can be achieved if imagined. There is no progress when the mind stays stagnant. No time for distractions when you're on your grind. The whole point of existence is to be one of a kind. When you rely on yourself, nothing can let you down. Create the royalty within you, and you shall be rewarded with a crown. And that is rulership minded. Now it says, let your mind run wild like a child. The soul obtains infinite doorways and aisles. So in the first line, let your mind run wild like a child, it's just talking about how as children we start off being right brain dominated before we learn how to be left brain dominated. That's why we start off crawling. You know what I mean? Start off being crawling below the horizon. Start off with a feminine energy before we turn masculine. That's why if you study, like I said, the more you study yourself and the more you study just our interaction and how the mechanism of existence when it comes to our vessels, you'll be able to pretty much break down the mechanism of the universe and how the laws and the synchronization and the mathematics of the universe works just by studying how we work. And then it says, so I'm gonna put the AC on. It is hot. Put this on real quick. All right. So in that situation, it's saying let your mind run like a child. Don't have too much restrictions. As children, we don't really have fear. That's why a child has to touch the fire multiple times before they realize that, oh, this actually hurts and this burns. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important that you realize that you want to have a vast mind. You want to have an imaginative mind. You want to be, it's kind of saying like, be a child, be innocent. Like, when you're studying things, don't have all these um, conceptive ideas already that you think you know everything. Be innocent. Try to learn. Be a student in whatever you're learning and experiencing. And the more you can become a student in that situation, the more you can eventually be the master and the teacher in that situation. But you have to start off as the student first and observe before you make your decision. And then it says the soul obtains infinite doorways and aisles. So it's just talking about how within the soul, there's multiple doorways and multiple aisles. There's multiple doorways to imaginations, multiple aisles, multiple stargates into a whole new world and a whole new creation. It's all up to you to start that mental seed and grow it into a great imaginative tree. And then it says, anything can be achieved if imagined. There is no progress when the mind stays stagnant. So anything can be achieved if imagined. You know, from the technology we have in the physical to the technological knowledge we have when it comes to the spiritual, these things came out of the internal. That came out of nowhere before becoming physical. You know what I'm saying? So anything can be imagined. You just have to know that you are the creator, not the creation. So the more you're tapping into the creator energy, the more you'll be able to create things, very easily. But the more you realize, but the more you think you're the creation, then you're always going to be waiting for outside sources to give you the inspiration, keyword inspiration, that should be coming from inside, that you should be utilizing for your dreams and goals and visions. And then it says, yeah, there is no progress when the mind stays stagnant. So it's very important that the mind is always moving, just like your body needs to physically move to lose weight. Your mind needs to physically move to lose that baggage, that excess baggage of things that you're holding on in the past. So the great way to let your mind move and exercise is by either being creative, using that energy instead of using it for something that is making you feel depressed and making you feel down. You can utilize that energy and that passion into something more productive that actually gives you actually winning results, whether it's physical results or internal results. But as long as you're moving your mind, either your internal mind or your physical mind, which we call the physical body, either way, you will be getting results. You know what I'm saying? It's all about what you're tapping into and utilizing the energy for. And then it says, yeah, no time for distractions when you're on your grind. The whole point of existence is to be one of a kind. So when you're on your grind and you're locked in, you don't have time for distractions. Because yeah, distractions will cause destructions. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important that you realize that what you're doing and what you're tapping into is something that is actually productive. That not productive that someone else expects from you, because what is productive to you might not be productive to somebody else. And what might be productive to somebody else might not be productive to you. You know what I'm saying? So, like some people slave their life away doing the same job that they don't like, when they can easily move to a different job that actually brings them more happiness. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about your intent. Jobs is not a bad thing. It's not about what you're doing, it's how you're doing it. So if you're doing a job that isn't catering to your capabilities and what you're good at, then eventually that job is going to feel like a burden. But if you're going into a job that that is utilizing your capabilities, utilizing your talents, then you're going to be happy to do that job every day. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important that you're utilizing the job energy into something that is productive to your talents and your gifts and abilities, not something that you're just doing because it's expected of you because your parents told you to or society told you to. So it's very important that you're utilizing the right productive energy for something that will benefit you in the long run. And then it says, yeah, the whole point of existence is to be one of a kind. So the more you're one of a kind, the more you'll be a blueprint, for other people to find their one of a kind energy. You know what I'm saying? Because the more people think that they can copy your one of a kind energy, that's just going to make them feel like, well, not make them feel like, but that's just going to be like a, a a carbon copy of what you're doing. But you want to be the original source in whatever you're doing. That's why it's very important to sit back, meditate, and look at what you're passionate about, what brings you happiness, what brings you a drive to achieve what you want to achieve. You know what I'm saying? So don't listen to what other people, that they have their own achievements, they have their own visions that they want to achieve, and you have your own. So it's very important that you're tapping into your energy. You know what I'm saying? Um, and then it says, when you rely on yourself, nothing can let you down. Create the royalty within you, and you shall be rewarded with a crown. So when you rely on yourself, nothing can let you down, right? Because no thing, now you're tapping into yourself. You're not relying on other people. So even if you fall short, okay, that is something I did and I need to work on that. But you can never work on somebody else because everyone has their own job to work on themselves. So if someone falls short in what they're doing, you can't really blame them because you're the one that invited them into your inner circle. You invited them into your space. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have that self-reliance first and foremost. And once you have that, that's when you can start picking other people, because if they fall short, or not really fall short, because if they're a true genuine friend, you want to help them, right? Even if they fall short, you can help them reach where they need to reach. But if there's someone that is purposely trying to sabotage what you're doing, and because you already have that self-reliance on yourself, you can easily kick them out. You know what I mean? It's not a job for you to let them go, because you already know you have to rely on yourself first and foremost to get where you need to get to. So always remember that. Always put yourself first. Start the mission from you first, and then you can start bringing other people that are like minded. And then it says, create the royalty within you, and you shall be rewarded with a crown. So you have to find that royalty within you, find that divinity within you. Know that you possess the dualistic nature, and you're the observer controlling both aspects of yourself. You know what I mean? That's how you gain royalty. That's why you see within the flag, you might see the crown with the bird on the crown, and then you might have a one wing on the left and one wing on the right. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. That's royalty. You know what I mean? The crown representing the head, controlling both aspects of yourself, your dualistic nature. That's what the wing represent. So that's the same energy. You want to be the head, controlling your dualistic nature. You know what I'm saying? And the more you can do that, the more you will be spiritually crowned. You know what I mean? Because you're now tapping into your inner self and your outer self, and they're both aligned. And the more you can do that, everything will be intertwined. So yeah, guys, that is rulership minded. Now let's get to the next poem. So the next poem is The Art of Non-Attachment. Detach from energy that brings you fulfillment. Sorry, detach from energy that doesn't bring you fulfillment. Life is not meant to be lived with resentment and regrets. Dwell in a space of satisfaction and gratitude. To succeed in life is to possess a hustler's attitude. Trying to please individuals constantly can be very draining. Beware of energy vampires, because your energy is the only thing they're gaining. Regardless of who comes and goes in your life, remain neutral. Observe wisely each experience and gain knowledge within each interval. And that is the art of non attachment. Now it says, detach from any energy that doesn't bring you fulfillment. Life is not meant to be lived with resentments and regrets. So the more you're detaching from energy that doesn't bring you fulfillment, and fulfillment means both aspects: to be fulfilled, to be full. That's a cycle, like just like you're studying the moon cycles. You know what I mean? When it's a full moon, that's when you're supposed to be fulfilled or unfulfilled. You know what I'm saying? Because either way, you're going to be full when it comes to a full moon. You're going to be full of emotions, but is that full of emotions? Is it something that is bringing you, solitude, or is it bringing you destabilization? You know what I'm saying? So you have to realize: are you being fulfilled in whatever you're participating in, or is this something that's making you feel unaligned? And you just have to listen to your intuition. Your intuition will definitely, infinitely tell you. And then it says, life is not meant to be lived with resentments and regrets. So it's very important that you acknowledge the anger and pain that you're going through. That's why it's very important that if you're going through something in the current, make sure you deal with it in the current. Don't wait for it to happen before you look back and you're like, damn, I should have done this. I wish I could have, and done this situation better, and things like that. Try to nip it in the bud right then and there so you don't have to have regrets. But if it's something that is out of your control and you cannot physically control it and it just happened, then you have to tap into that energy of letting things go, because you have to realize that when someone does something to you that you didn't do to them, automatically when you let that thing go, automatically that energy goes right back to them and they have to deal with that energy that they poured onto you. So you just letting that energy go, that regrets and resentment, all the energy that they threw at you that wasn't meant to actually benefit your life will go right back to them and they can deal with that. So people have to realize that you have to be able to deal with the energy that you throw out. If you cannot deal with it, don't throw it out. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a good happy person, you're gonna be happy to throw that out to other people, right? Because if you were to get that right back, you're gonna feel happy and feel fulfilled. So you have to always be smart in what type of energy you're giving out onto other people, especially if they're very aware. And then it says, dwell in a space of satisfaction and gratitude. To succeed in life is to possess a hustless attitude. So when you dwell in a space of satisfaction and gratitude, you don't feel a lack of, you don't feel insecure. You're only in the mentality of, okay, how can I better myself? How can I expand my greatness? How can I expand my abilities and keep bettering myself in each day in aspects of my life? You know what I'm saying? So that it's very important to have satisfaction and gratitude, because if you don't, then you're always going to be looking to the side of other people and looking at what they have. And then that's where jealousy comes from. That's where envy comes from, because you're not satisfied in what you're doing in your life, and you're not finding gratitude in what you're doing. So no matter how much you have, it's never enough, because you always have to take more from other people. So you have to be aware of that and realize, like, okay, am I doing this right now? Should I step back and be more level-headed in what I'm doing? I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting inspired and getting advice from other people, but if you're fully putting all your energy into other people's process and what they're doing, then you're wasting time on yours. You know what I mean? So you have to always remember, we're all here to find our abilities and expand on that. And then it says, um, yeah, to succeed in life is to possess a hustler's attitude. So if you want to succeed in life, you have to possess a hustler's attitude. You have to have the energy of not giving up. That's what a hustler is. A hustler does not give up. A hustler has dedication and is patient. You know what I mean? They know it's a process and they're trusting the process. That's a hustler's mentality. That's a hustler's attitude. You know what I mean? They don't give up. No restriction is going to stop them from reaching their destination, because that is their destiny. So you want to tap into that type of power within you. Um, it says, trying to please individuals constantly can be very draining. Beware of energy vampires, because your energy is the only thing they're gaining. So if you're always trying to please individuals constantly, especially, there's nothing wrong with pleasing individuals if they're pleasing you back. Remember? Because that's how you're bouncing energy. Energy is just like money. You know what I mean? If I have a service that I can do for you and you have a service you can do for me, then we exchange money to help each other out, right? It's the same thing. If you have a charismatic gifts or a personality trait that you have that can benefit me, and I got a personality trait that I have, or a knowledge or wisdom that can benefit you, that's us exchanging energy, right? But if there's someone that's just trying to take, and they're not trying to give back, then that's an energy vampire. So you have to be aware of that. That could be family, friends, society, people, place, and things. The more you can sit back and be like, okay, is this a fair exchange of energy right now that I'm going through? And if you realize that it's not, then it's very important that you cut these people off straight away. You know what I mean? Like straight away, automatically cut them off, because you first of all try to talk to them. You know, if you can't talk to these people and you feel like these are like, let's say your family, friends, and things like that, and you're talking to them and you know that they can be able to listen to you and see where you're coming from, then of course, definitely, communicate, because communication is very important. You can be able to resolve a lot of things. But if you're dealing with people, mostly like we'll call narcissists, that just don't even want to listen to what you have to say and they just want to have their own mentality and their own one way of thinking, then you cannot help these type of people. You know what I'm saying? So instead of wasting your energy trying to communicate with them, you just cut them off, because some people are just they're dealing with what they're dealing with, and you cannot help some people. You know what I mean? You can only help yourself and the people that want to get helped. So it's very important that you cut these people off, because they're only going to take your energy. They're only going to take your money. You know what I mean? They're not there to help you out and give you the energy or the money when you need it. You know what I'm saying? So you always want to be in a fair exchange of energy. Those are the type of people you want to be around. People that you can fairly exchange energy with or exchange money with. And then it says, regardless of who comes and goes in your life, remain neutral. Observe wisely each experience and gain knowledge within each interval. Now it's saying, regardless of who comes in your life, remain neutral. You know what I mean? Because if you're polarized, then that's when you can easily fall for deception or fall for people's manipulative way. But if when you're neutral, that's when you can be able to observe and realize, okay, is this someone that is genuinely for me and is actually trying to help me, or is this someone that's just trying to waste my time or waste my energy? So it's very important for you to remain neutral and observe first. And then it says, observe wisely within each experience and gain knowledge within each interval. So the more you observe wisely, okay, you're not what's it called? You're not impulsive. You're stepping back, you're observing, you're seeing people's traits and their actions and things like that before you make your actions. That's when things will start to work out for you. And the more you can do that, the more you start to gain wisdom and knowledge from that, because you're learning from your experience. You're not just in your experience, you're out of your experience. You're having an out of body experience, but in the physical realm of reality. You know what I'm saying? It's like you having a dream when you get out of your body and you can see everything around you. You know what I'm saying? But really, you're doing this in the physical reality, in the current time. So the more you sit back and you're observing your experience, the more automatically you gain wisdom and knowledge from that. And the more you can do that, the more everything will come around in circle for you, and everything will come like a cycle, like just like the clock, and you'll keep accumulating. So if you start from the top and you go in a cycle, you accumulate. You know what I mean? Each time it comes to the top, you accumulate. Okay, you're accumulating 360 knowledge. You know what I mean? Just like the energy comes from your head to the soles of your feet, comes back around, another knowledge. Like that. You're just gaining 360 knowledge, like a wheel. And that's when you start to will things into existence and start to bring things into reality. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important to start tapping into this type of energy and looking within yourself. And the more you can do that, everything else will play out in the right way, in the neutral way that it's meant to be. And yeah, guys, that was the problem for today's video. I hope you guys get